Imagine the following. You meet someone who seems incredible. The person has charisma, appears interested in you, and even makes you feel special. But, as time goes by, something begins to bother you. Small warning signs start to appear. Sometimes it's a sarcastic comment that hurts, other times it's a selfish attitude that makes you question the relationship. Before you know it, you're trapped in a toxic web that drains you, weakens you, and makes you doubt who you are. This kind of relationship, unfortunately, is more common than we think. And the truth is, when we're in the middle of it, it's hard to see clearly. That's why, in today's video, we're going through a checklist of people you should avoid at all costs. We'll talk about the types of behaviors and attitudes that are clear signs of toxic love, and how you can identify them before getting too involved. Stay until the end, because this content can literally save your self-esteem, your peace of mind, and possibly even your life. The disguised manipulator. This is one of the most dangerous types, because at first, they don't seem toxic. On the contrary, the person may be extremely affectionate, always knows what to say, and seems to have the best intentions. But as time goes on, you start to notice a pattern. The manipulator knows exactly how to make you feel guilty for things that aren't even your fault. They distort reality, making you doubt what you saw or heard. This is what we call gaslighting, an emotional manipulation technique where the person twists facts to make you question your own sanity. For example, you might be sure they said something offensive in a moment of anger, but when you try to confront them, they respond with something like, "You're exaggerating," or "That never happened, you must be imagining things." Over time, this behavior can destroy your confidence. And that's dangerous. Healthy relationships are built on mutual trust and respect, not on one person's control or manipulation of the other. The eternal victim. Do you know someone who is always the victim in every situation? That person who, even when they're wrong, manages to twist things around to make it seem like the world is against them. This is the classic profile of the eternal victim. Being in a relationship with someone like this is extremely exhausting, because they never take responsibility for their own mistakes. Everything bad that happens in their life is someone else's fault. The boss who doesn't understand, the friends who aren't supportive, the family that only criticizes. And, of course, when the relationship between you starts to show signs of strain, all the blame will fall on you. This type of behavior creates an atmosphere of constant tension. Instead of solving problems together, you end up carrying the weight of everything on your shoulders. And this, over time, destroys you. A healthy relationship needs to be a fair exchange, where both sides take responsibility for their mistakes and work to improve. If you're in a relationship with someone who always plays the victim, be careful. The controlling, jealous type. Jealousy, in small doses, can even be seen as a sign of affection. But when jealousy turns into control, you need to get out. The controlling, jealous type is the one who needs to know your every move. Who are you talking to? Why did it take you so long to reply? Who is this new person you followed on Instagram? At first, this might seem like genuine concern, but over time, this need for control becomes suffocating. The person may start trying to isolate you from your friends, your family, and any interaction outside the relationship becomes a reason for conflict. This behavior is dangerous because it often comes with emotional blackmail. If you don't provide enough explanations, the controlling, jealous type will make you feel like you are to blame for the relationship's problems. Remember one thing. In a healthy relationship, each person needs their own space. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you have to give up your individuality, your friends, or your activities. Relationships based on control are like cages, and no one deserves to live trapped. The narcissistic egoist. The narcissist is the type of person who only thinks about themselves. In the beginning, they might charm you with grand stories, talk about their achievements, and seem super confident. But over time, you'll realize this person doesn't truly care about how you feel or what you think. In any conversation, all stories end up revolving around them. In difficult times, they disappear or simply show no empathy. The key trait of a narcissist is that they believe the world revolves around them. Their needs always come first, and they expect you to always be available to meet them. If you try to bring up your own needs, you're quickly ignored or, worse, accused of being selfish. It's important to understand that in a healthy relationship, both people must be willing to give and receive. If you're always the emotional support for someone, but never receive the same in return, that relationship is unbalanced. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is a one-way street that only leads to frustration and emotional exhaustion. The destructive critic. Everyone receives criticism at some point, and it's part of personal growth. But there's a huge difference between constructive criticism, which is given with care and aims to help, and destructive criticism, which only seeks to tear you down. The destructive critic is that person who is never satisfied with what you do. Nothing is ever good enough. There's always something to fix, change, or improve. This type of person may start with subtle criticisms, but over time, they become more frequent and harsher. You'll notice that you begin to doubt yourself, your abilities, and often come to rely on this person's approval to feel good. This is a clear sign that the relationship is toxic. In a healthy relationship, criticism comes from a place of love, not from a desire to make the other person feel inferior. Do you have someone in your life who always criticizes you, makes you feel small? If so, it might be time to reevaluate that relationship. Destructive criticism doesn't build, it erodes. The unreliable promiser. Have you ever been with someone who always makes incredible promises but never delivers? At first, it can seem exciting. They promise trips, special moments, changes in their behavior. But over time, you realize these promises never materialize. And worse, when you try to hold them accountable, they always have a ready excuse. This behavior can create a cycle of constant hope and disappointment. With each new promise, you fill with expectations, only for them to be broken again. The problem is, instead of breaking this cycle, you often cling to the hope that this time will be different. The truth is, in healthy relationships, actions speak louder than words. If someone is always promising but never delivering, it's time to question if they're really committed to you or just stringing you along. The boundary invader. Respecting boundaries is crucial for any healthy relationship. But some people simply don't get that. The boundary invader is the one who, even knowing something bothers you, keeps doing it. They ignore your requests and disrespect your wishes, whether big or small. This behavior might seem harmless at first, like making jokes about something you asked them not to mention. But over time, this lack of respect for your boundaries can escalate to something much more serious, like disregarding your decisions or even manipulating situations to make you give in. Think about this. You have boundaries, and they need to be respected. In a healthy relationship, both partners understand each other's limits and do their best to ensure none of them are crossed. As we've gone through these 7 types of toxic people, I hope you've been able to spot some warning signs. The most important takeaway here is to remember that you deserve to be in a relationship that strengthens you, helps you grow, and brings you peace. Toxic relationships do the exact opposite. They drain you, weaken you, and leave you confused. So, if you've recognized any of these behaviors in your life, it might be time to reevaluate who you're allowing to stay by your side. And don't forget, no one can make you feel less than what you truly are. You have the power to choose who enters and who leaves your life. If you're committed to your personal development and want to keep evolving and leveling up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here, I always bring practical and powerful content to help you keep growing. And if this video helped you in any way, make sure to leave a like so that more people can be impacted as well. In the description, you'll find links to books that I've carefully selected, works that can completely transform the way you think and act. It's definitely worth checking out. And don't leave just yet. Take a look at the suggested videos here on the screen. They will help you even more on your personal development journey. See you there.